So you said you're leaning into joy. What are the things that bring you joy?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I ever did for myself to lean into joy was to start the Rough and Tumble.
Ah,
Um, that band makes me happy. The music that I get to make with that band makes me really happy. And because I started making that music with the fellas, um, I realized that making music consistently was better for me. So
mhm.
I am leaning into creation all the time now. Like I am in full blown creative mode most of the time. I mean, I still do all the admin things and all that stuff, but it's write more songs, record more songs, do more projects, do more duets, work with more songwriters. Just for me, that's my buzz. My buzz is, creation, songwriting,
Right.
working with other people, collaboration. It's
Mhm.
it's the best. It's the best feeling. Yeah.
Do you think it's easier to stay creative than to get creative in the first place?
Ooh, well, you can, like I have in the past, very much so gone into like creation hiatus
Mhm.
or, unintentionally for good long periods of time. And yes, I think you definitely need some momentum when you've been quiet for a while and you haven't been creating. You might doubt yourself a little bit more than normal. Um, and if you're constantly creating, you're so regularly confronted with those moments of doubt that you tend not to care because you've broken through those moments of doubt on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So you go, oh yeah, that's just the voices in my head being doubtful right now. That happens next. you
Mhm.
um so yeah, I think for me, continually having that, instead of doing it cyclically where I create
Mhm.
and then I go into admin and then I go into promotion shows and then I'm just constantly, I might be doing admin and promotion on something else, but
Mhm.
I'm constantly creating new things. And for
Mhm.
me, that seems to be a better cycle for my mental health for sure.
That is such a great way to put it, that if you're creating constantly or creating more, the moments of doubt just become almost so commonplace that you realize that the stakes for those are lower. And I
Yeah.
actually haven't heard it expressed like that before, but that's reassuring, I would imagine, for a lot of people who are feeling doubt, as every person who's creating does.
Yeah, one of the biggest surprises for me when I was, young and up and coming songwriter was to find out that my heroes all doubted themselves as well. um, and not across the board, of course, but they all go through everyone goes through these slumps, feeling, in American baseball we call it the yips. um, I got the yips. It's like you don't know, you can't remember your skills and what you have and what you bring to the table, and you're so afraid of a mistake that you're stagnant. You stop yourself from doing stuff.
Mhm.
um, and really, creativity is such a flow state based thing.
Mhm.
If you can engage flow state more regularly, I think most people would be shocked how much you can actually create if you are creative,
Mhm.
constantly going into flow state and forcing yourself to do that. I think we'd all be really surprised of how much comes out of us.
Yeah.
Then you have to figure out what to do with it all. but one problem at a time.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day and saying to think of creativity as being like a river that is constantly flowing, and you can step into and out of the river as you wish. And sometimes it's not safe to step into the river depending on what's
Right.
going on in your life, but it is always flowing.
Yeah, it's always flowing. And I think of it like, okay, so if you have, say you have creative muscles, right? And if you're a gym person, right, and you go to the gym regularly and then for a couple years you don't go to the gym,
Mhm.
the next time you go to the gym you're going to take it slow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or you might like, lose your footing a little bit. But if you're a daily, 5 times a week, 4 times a week in the gym, you know what you're doing. You're in a flow state. So it's a lot like that. I think working those mental muscles can be very similar to working physical muscles.
Hmm. I also wonder if it goes towards what motivates you as an artist, in that if you are constantly creating, you don't really need to find motivation because that river is flowing? Or is it that it's that in itself is the motivation?
It can be, I think it can be both. Like when the river is flowing, I'm one of those people that with songwriting, especially, I tend to be like a bad eavesdropper. Like I just listen to people's conversations all the time and I'm constantly noting, well, that's a really cool phrase, or that's a cool line, or, if I hear something and there's a really cool chord progression, I might go, oh, well, that's cool. How do I do my version of that? Or, so that stuff, if you're in creativity mode, I think you're a better listener. You're a better creative listener.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to tap into possible inspiration
Mm-hmm.
because you're listening. Your like creative ears are on.
Yeah.
Lack of a better way of explaining it.